Narcissism.
Okay, I have a question. What is a narcissist? Because I do hear people saying all the time their spouse or their significant other is a narcissist. I hear this all the time. So maybe there's
Yeah.
something wrong with me that I'm listening for all the narcissist questions, but I'm just curious, what is the definition of that? I feel people overuse that word.
Yeah, they do. I think the way that people overuse, certain words like, you're so OCD, when they don't actually have OCD. And
Or bipolar, I feel is overused.
yeah, do people say that?
Yeah, a lot of people just say, "Oh, I'm bipolar," but like when you see people who are really
No,
bipolar,
it's an actual phenomenon.
yeah, it's
It's
a
an actual
serious,
diagnosis. Yeah.
crazy illness. Not, and I don't mean crazy that the person's crazy. I mean that illness really damages people.
Yeah, if they're not treated. I mean, people who are treated with and who have bipolar disorder do really well, but they have to get the right treatment. So, yeah, that's very different from casually saying, "Oh, you're so bipolar." I think people don't understand what that is. Bipolar is not like, used casually.
Yeah, I think people think like the Hollywood version is, oh, you're really happy sometimes and you're really sad other times. It just goes back and forth all the time, and it doesn't seem to be that at all. But I am curious, what is a narcissist?
Are you asking for a friend?
No, I'm just curious because I hear it all the time, and then I also hear sociopath all the time. So what's a narcissist and what's a sociopath?
Yes. So
He's a sociopath.
right, right. So that's what happened in my book when the boyfriend breaks up with me. My friends immediately say he was a sociopath. How could he never have told you he didn't want to live with a kid? And by the way, I agreed. Which of course, my therapist did not. So I'll start with sociopath then, I guess. A sociopath is somebody who lacks empathy, cannot, goes around and doesn't care about hurting other people or the feelings of other people or what happens to other people.
Is that biological or is it like a function of how they were raised or
People don't really know. There's all these questions, I think, with a lot of mental illness, which is, how much is nurture and how much is nature. And I think that a lot of it is a combination of the two.
Mhm.
So it's very rare for a person to be a sociopath. It's very rare in the population. Narcissism is also an actual diagnostic category, but remember there are gradations of narcissism, right? So, somebody who's a little bit self-centered, that's not narcissism necessarily. But a lot of times people say, "Oh, that person's such a narcissist." Um, they're so, concerned with themselves. That's more kind of self-centered. A narcissist is somebody who thinks they're better than everybody else.
Mm.
John in the book, the character, I say character because I had to rename him, but the person, my patient, probably would fit the diagnostic category for narcissism.
Right, because I remember he came into your office, he's always trashing everybody else, and
Everybody was an idiot. He knew better than everybody else. He was smarter than everybody else.
he wasn't necessarily a mean guy.
No, he wasn't mean, but he was insulting, just because he thought he was so much better than everybody else. And so narcissism is, I'm so much better, I'm so great, everybody else is less than. And it comes from a place, ironically, of feeling less than.
Mm.
So it's a defense against feelings of lack of self worth, even though the presentation is that they have so much self-worth that they're irritating.
So how do you let's say you figure out someone's a narcissist, how do you deal with that person in either a friendship or relationship or a business context?
Yeah. I would say try not to be in a relationship with a narcissist. So, how do you deal with that person in a relationship? Probably choose somebody else.
Mm.
Unless that person is willing to, do therapy and try to figure out what's going on. Narcissists don't show up in therapy that much because they don't think anything's wrong with them.
Mm.
So the way that John comes to me is he thinks, he's there to help, he needs help sort of with the irritation of managing all the idiots. And so it's not for him. It's not like, "Hey, I want to change and something's wrong with me." It's, "How do I manage all these people who are inferior to me?"
Mm.
That's how a narcissist might end up. Or a narcissist often ends up in therapy in the context of a couple. So they'll come in and you see whether it's him or her. Um, there is, one person has narcissistic traits, and the other partner is very fed up with it, and the other partner is who brought them into therapy.